here we are, people. I'm gonna try to hold my hands straight. Okay, this whole thing needs to go that way. Okay, so we're gonna make a face cut and point it the way the rope's going there, and then we're gonna leave more holding wood on the far side. Okay, hope this is making sense. I was watching Billy Ray pull a stem down the other day, and I have to agree with the things he was saying about you don't run around in a big hurry or whatever. You don't have the guys pulling when they don't need to. You pull when you need to. You give yourself a relief of pressure to make your back cut. You cut the hinge to where you want it, and then you pull it over. It's like no surprises. It's not like you just got somebody just squealing tires on the thing until it goes over and barber chairs up, you know, and splits, and none of that drama. That's not how it's done. It's very deliberate. Go for it. Keep going. You're going to be cranking it a ways. Okay, that's enough. That's enough for me to make my cuts. Helmet communication is awesome for pulling. When one guy's cutting and one guy's up on the winch. So much better than shouting across the neighborhood. If I get my way, it'd be right here, but it's probably going to be over here on this little cottonwood. When I'm pulling, I like to put it in four-wheel drive because it's kind of more of a braking, more than just like the e-brake, more than just park. This is a 1-ton four-wheel drive van, so it's substantial. Okay, YouTube, now we're just gonna pull it over. I've got it cut where I want. We're gonna be shoving it through that other canopy. Okay, go ahead. Stop. Perfect. That's what I expected. Remember that little cottonwood I was talking about that we'd be crashing into? I'll show you that. This is the little cottonwood that I was thinking we might hit, but I ended up getting it bang on really where I wanted it. Maybe a little bit into the cottonwood, but awesome, really. I mean, pretty predictable, I think, pulling. When you know how to cut and pull in unison with each other, not working against each other. Fatter here, see, fatter, because we were forcing the tree through this canopy. Pine is very nice to work with. It's got some hinge power. Ponderosa pine does. Tree number 2 coming up. It's always good to have an audience. Yes, it is. Chicken took a dump right when I said that. Pulling a back leaner, it probably goes without saying, but I always put some tension on the rope before I make the face cut, because you're making the face cut on the side that would trip the tree for the direction it wants to go, you know? So you kind of are making like an artificial lean when you pull a tree. It has wood called reaction wood that's been forming over its life in response to the pressures against it. and you put a new pressure against it, then you kind of make a lean. And there's different ways to do it. You can saw a lean. That's a deep undercut. If it's possible, you can, it's called sawing the lean. When you undermine the center of gravity, when you're pulling, you kind of make an artificial lean, as long as you compensate and pull in the right spot for the lean. Because if you don't do it right and your hinge isn't adequate for what you're trying to do, then the tree ends up splitting the difference between the pull and the way it wants to go, and it falls in some terrible place, like over there on that camper shell. So there's some things to think about if you plumbers and electricians and stay-at-home moms, and there's probably like one of those. I know there's some little old ladies that watch that are kind of get her done types, that like got a saw and work around the farm. There's a lot of young people. So, are you ready? Go ahead. Yeah, have at her. I'll tell you when. Okay. Another thing I should mention while I'm thinking about it is, you see us a lot of times still cutting hinge as the tree's falling. We don't have to do that here. There's a time for that, and it probably is like the subject of a whole nother video. And there are skeptics and people who argue against it, but they aren't people who are out driving stakes with trees. They're not people with the right kind of experience. And they are people with a very good experience oftentimes who do it their way all the time. But there are other things that can be done with cutting, steering the tree as it's falling, and I guess we're not going to talk about it right now. We're going to do this instead. Bunch of nails I'm going to pull here for a minute. So I'm wanting to pull out some fence staples, and just like tree work my whole life, there's usually what you need somewhere around you. I mean, the staples aren't what you need, but you know, I'm looking like I don't have a hammer, I don't have a screwdriver, nothing. And I look up in the tree hanging over my head over there. 10 feet above me hanging in the tree was a screwdriver. Oh, that's cool. See? No doubt they were using this as a weight to get something over a limb. So this is one of those where we have so much tension on it that there might be enough stretch in the rope and weight on the cable and stuff that we don't need to winch. Once I start the back cut, we'll see. We might not have to have them pull it. Joe says that as it was going, he ran with the rope to keep it out from under the tree. He says he kept up with it. That's awesome. Yeah, this is what we wanted. See? Perfect. 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 We would cut stumps lower if we were logging, but they're going to just cut this up and burn it. I fine-tuned my face cut just a little bit to make it more wide open right before I dumped it. Because the hinge works longer the more open the face is, and so it stays committed to the way you've gunned it for a longer period of time. Thanks for watching. I had fun. I had a blast today. You have fun, Joe? Yep. See you next time. Hey, I'm trekking back to the van here. It's kind of like over the river and through the woods. And it occurred to me that my t-shirt was really super cool, and that you guys could get one on monkeybeaver.com if you wanted. I would help all of our little efforts to make content. What do you think of that? Is that too much? One more thing is I was using my modified 460. This is a 28-inch bar, port and polish 460. I've been using the 500i so much that this thing felt heavy, and I feel like the 500i is pretty cool.
Yeah, mine ran good today.
Yeah, good.
I let it warm up, I guess. That last job I didn't, and it was struggling in the tree.
So he's saying he used the 500i in the tree on that crane job
Today.
Yep.
And on the last one I did.
So he had the 500i with a 28-inch bar, and I had the 460 modified with a 28-inch bar. My rakers were a little high. I can see from here a little bit of polish, a little bit of shine on them. I felt like it would have been a little better if they were a little shorter.
Monkey Beaver dum dum.